Monaghans Galway, located on the Tuam Road, is the leading dealership in Galway for new SKODA, CUPRA and Seat models. Now is the perfect time to order your new car or visit Monaghans.ie.
You're welcome along to the Maroon and White pod. So we're here to look ahead to the intermediate final this weekend between Kinvara and Tynagh-Abbey Duniry. And I'm joined by Climber Intermediate Manager Dessie O'Brien and Meelick Eyrecourt selector Cathal O'Byrne to look ahead to this weekend's final. Before we come to that, Dessie, when you look on this weekend at these two teams being involved in the final, is there a bit of jealousy?
Sure, there's always a bit of, I don't know if it's jealousy, but there's probably a bit of sadness that we're not in it ourselves. But like, look at, I suppose if you look over the year total, they're probably the best two teams in the Intermediate Championship.
How do you reflect on Climber's year this year?
Sure, we had probably an up and down year. We had a good start. We had a good league campaign, a very good league campaign. We got off to a bad start in the championship against Kinvara, and then we picked up against Hurling and Kiltimor. Shaky over Cathal, very, very shaky. And so then I suppose we left it too late to come back. We were 5 points up against Cardmore at one stage, and they went ahead after we lose them there to injury, and we just couldn't get back, you know.
Just on that, because I suppose there's obviously huge expectation with Climber to be in the final this weekend after coming down last year. But if you're to kind of put it to one thing of maybe why Climber aren't there, what would you put that down to?
I don't know. The lads gave it everything. Like, I think we did about 70 training sessions, about 12 or 14 matches in league, and so, I don't know. I think, look, fatigue probably could have come into it because this bunch of guys are 4 years now since I took over. And at the time, Gerald Lyons and Jason Monahan and the new management team last year, there are 4 years between getting to the first intermediate final and losing in the last minute, winning the next one, and so they're constantly on the go. So I think fatigue is a lot to it, just tired.
Carl, from your own perspective, like looking on at Meelick Eyrecourt, so close to this final, really. I know when people see the scoreline, it was a 3 point win for Kinvara, but all those 3 points coming in injury time.
Yeah, it was a very good game against Kinvara. It was nip and tuck. I think it was 12-11 at half time. Going into second half, then it was fairly point for point all the way through. We got a goal kind of late enough on, and they got a goal maybe only 3 or 4 minutes after it. So it was tit for tat the whole way, like, But yeah, I suppose going into injury time, I suppose we were level. We picked up a couple of injuries, probably unfortunate in the game or whatever. Kind of right after we scored our goal, we picked up an injury straight away after that, and our centre back got a bad injury as well. So but yeah, like, look, they were very good in the day. Kinvara they were very organised and everything, so it was good. Like, they were well deserving of the win. Like, you couldn't begrudge them of it, really, to be honest. They picked off the 3 points in injury time. Like, so fair play to them.
Just on like looking back on the year with Meelick Eyrecourt, would it be fair to say it maybe took you a while to get going, particularly from the group stage?
I suppose, yeah, like, say, you look back to the first couple of games, we often reference it there during the year. We played Scavello and we played Ballygar. Like, say, we got over Scavello the very first day, but I suppose going back to our league campaign, we probably suffered a lot of injuries. We're playing league games with probably only a third of our team, maybe five lads that were probably starting later in the year. So, but no, yeah, like I said, then when we got in towards it, all right, we are getting a lot of lads back, which was good. And probably as the championship went on, we probably got a stronger team as we went on with lads coming back and that. So, but the lads dug deep in the first couple of games. Like, we drew against Ballygar. Ballygar were very well set up now. They were good. They were very good now, and they brought a physical battle as well. Like, so we're delighted, like, to come away. We come away with the draw that day, and we come away with the win the first day against Skarna. So we're delighted with that. Like, at least then from there, then we could build on something. So and we did in the group stages there. So we're happy with that. Like, the lads kind of dug deep for them couple of games.
And how do you look back on the year? Obviously, your first year with Meelick Eyrecourt this year, but how do you look back on it as a whole?
I'm sure as a whole overall, like it's a disappointing year when you don't win it, like when you don't win the championship, like. But like say there was lots of improvements, like even talking to a couple of the players and that, like, and they felt like that we were improving as the year went on. The performances kind of brought a couple of new stuff that they mightn't have done before, or whatever, and tried to introduce it or whatever, and we kind of stuck with it. Maybe when it wasn't going to plan earlier on in the year, so that's one thing that we were happy with, that we did stick by it, and it clicked a couple of times during the year, but I suppose just probably didn't click right on maybe the coming down the stretch against Kinvara or whatever. But overall, like yeah, like look, you can't be overly disappointed getting to a semi-final the first year or whatever. But yeah, overall we would have, obviously the main goal was to win it and get promoted or whatever. But yeah, sure, look, sure, overall it wasn't a terrible year.
And Dessie, from your own experience, how tough is it to get out of intermediate?
Sure, this intermediate championship is probably one of the hardest to ever get out of. And I suppose Cathal touched it there, like rural clubs, like especially in East Galway. If you have one or two injuries on the day, it's very hard because your panels are tight. Like, and the intermediate championship in Galway is very, very. But how how to get out of it? Look, it takes a bit of luck and it lost a lot of hard work and effort.
Absolutely. And Cathal, for you as well, how do you think the championship this year, like, did you think it was a good championship?
Yeah, definitely. Like obviously, it was my first year involved in the intermediate championship in Galway, so kind of yeah, like, a good few things kind of surprised me. Like say first of all, our first two games, especially like the physicality in it was huge. Like say I know kind of the first couple of teams we played probably had a bit of a kind of football and background, and they brought a lot of physicality to it. And that's one thing that surprised me. Like they were obviously very well set up and did a lot of good hurlers and everything and that, but just the physicality, and then you're kind of asking your players that the first port of call for them is that they have to meet that physical test. And once if you can get players to first of all do that, and then we can try and build stuff on top of it, build a few systems on top of it or whatever that'll be. But that's one thing that really stuck out to me now this year was that test, like physically with it, like that will say if you don't meet that, a lot of teams are gonna cause you a lot of problems in the intermediate,
Dessie, you mentioned at the very start of the podcast, it's fair to say that the two best teams, two teams that are unbeaten in the intermediate final this weekend.
Without a doubt, yeah, without a doubt. Like we played Kinvara in the first game, and like I came home that evening, like, and I said these guys are going to take beating. Like I actually was very, very impressed with their structure. Like Mike Kilbert there and Dessie O'Brien, they're over the setup. Like they're two very experienced hurling men. They have a very young team. They're not afraid to attack. They're not afraid of the big day. Nothing fazes them. And we all know they have Conor Whelan. Everyone knows they have Conor Whelan. Like the day against us, he got one opportunity, he got a goal. But like there was five or six other guys that just took it on, um, you have to admire them, you know. As for Airport or as for Tynagh-Abbey Duniry, they're- like they've proven it over the last 2 years, like under Matty and by their Lee Hodgins, Divine, and they have proven like that they're a team that probably deserve to be up in senior B, but to get up there you have to win it. Look, at my view is should be two up and two down anyway every year from all grades. That's just my view, you know. I think if you get to an immediate final, you deserve to go up. I think the B final, you deserve to go up winner. That's my view, only my view.
Why do you think, Dessie, it should be two up and two down?
Well, I think it's just the team that gets beat next Saturday or next Sunday has done as much as the team that won. And you know, you know, we're trying to make everything fair now, and you know, you have 8 teams in Senior B there. Um, I think the Senior B should be 12 teams and play it out. That's
Hmm.
as I said, that's only my view. Um, maybe there's as good as teams in intermediate just can't get out because they have that one chance, or they have bad injuries, or they have lads in Australia or America, and they might just go through. But there's clubs down there that are every bit as competitive as some of the clubs in Senior B.
Yeah, yeah. You know, it's an interesting point there, and Carl, you obviously came up against Kinvara in the semi-final. The thing for me is just stands out about Kinvara this year. Like they were hammered to Meelick Eyrecourt in a quarter-final last year, and since then they've turned it around and they're in a county final. It's a remarkable turnaround in the space of 12 months.
Yeah, definitely. Like say, I would look back on the clips that were from that game last year in the quarter final, and it was like chalk and cheese. The two teams was probably very little benefit looking back on it on that team from last year because it just show you, like say, when you do, when you can kind of rally a group of players together and kind of. And the new management in there seem to be very good lads in that. Like so, if you can get a team working together, no matter what the plan is, like if you can just get them all working to a plan, a lot of teams can buy into it. Like and like that, then when they get they had a hard group, like say there was with Clymer and with Turlock and with Kiltormer, like and had got tested early and came over them tests, like and when they can get a couple of wins like that and start getting confidence back into a group, I think they can momentum like is it's a funny thing, like it can just stay rolling on and it can count for a lot like come the latter stages of the championship, like.
Dessie, what stood out for you when you played Kinvara? Because I know they did beat you quite comfortably in the first game, and it probably raised a few eyebrows for a lot of Galway hurling supporters after that round one game.
Well, they did, like, because like we had our homework done, as we thought we had our homework done, but they had no fear. I thought they had no fear. They have a very solid backline. They have Shane Burden and they have Conor Burke, Josh O'Connor. They have a good midfield set up. They have that Liam Martin. They're good guys. These guys now. They're good young men. And all you have to do, look, I think off the top of my head, 9 or 10 of them are under 20.
Mm.
I think the element of no fear and very well structured, very well structured. But look at Mike Halliburton and Anthony will definitely bring that to a club anyway, or to a team, no more than the other management of Tina, like they're experienced guys. Yeah, they're very well structured, very fit, and no fear, no fear.
Do you think that helps, Dessie, when it comes to an intermediate final that this group don't really have any baggage?
Oh, I do, yeah. I think next Sunday they're just going to go out and they're going to hurl it like any normal game. Um, these young guys, they have played in another 20 final, they want to play in minor finals. They've played in football finals, believe it or not. Most of these guys have played underage. But they're not worried, because I think it's going to be only another match to these guys. Whether they can lift it above the Tina, the experience of Tina is another issue. But yeah, these guys are good now. These guys are good, and as I said, they have no fear. And no fear in the final is a huge thing, huge.
What stood out for you, Carl, when you played them?
Yeah, kind of like just to reiterate what Dessie was saying there as well. Like, yeah, like I said, they definitely did play with no fear, but I kind of felt like that they were up for the game, but they were very measured, and they had their homework done as well, obviously on us as well, like with a couple of man marking jobs and that. But yeah, they never kind of panicked. They played a third man out midfield. They're going from their half back line there with their centre back, I think Joshua O'Connor. They played the ball out nicely, like, but then when they had that option to go along. We'll say, like, obviously having Conor Whelan out, they had him out in the wing forward position. And like he was a great option there. Like if you do need to be an out ball or whatever, that putting it down top of him, he'll probably win 8 or 9 out of 10 balls, like when you put them down the top of him, whatever. But then they played two inside, and they were well able to mix it up. Like if they had to go long down the top of them, or if they had to play it into space, whatever, they were dangerous and they caused those a good few problems at large portions of the game. Like, but like that as well, like they even when we got the goal, they responded well to it as well. Like, and they got their own goal, made their own chance, and won the penalty. Like so. Like that's one thing about them, that if they brought that forward to the final, like where they don't panic in situations or whatever, they'll probably cause problems for Tina as well. Like
There's all the pressure on Tina this weekend, Carl.
Yeah, like say, like I suppose when you're going in as with the favourites tag, like is, but it's all about how they portray it for themselves as well. Like if they're going to go in and say the pressure's on them, they'll probably feel it a bit more. But they have to take a lot of confidence too, Tina. Like like say you're back in a final again, say over 2 years, you have to reach in 2 finals. Like they have to take a lot of confidence from that as well. Like as Dessie was saying there, it's a very hard championship, that intermediate championship. It's physical and it's all that, like, and to get to 2 finals back to back is an achievement in itself. But obviously they're hoping to go on and win it. Like, but But I'd say they won't. Like they probably did get a lot of experience from last year as well. Like like say they probably had a few learnings from last year, against Ballindereen or whatever. So I'm sure they're trying to iron them out for Sunday.
Because the narrative really has been, Dessie, that Tina have been too good of a team to go down the intermediate in the first place.
Yeah, but we could say that about a few teams. Like, but I go back to what Cathal said there. Like, definitely last year's final is definitely going to stand to them. I know that when we regrouped in Killimor after losing to Mike Cullen the first year, the second year we just picked ourselves up, got going again, and really and truly we breezed through the intermediate championship, except for probably the final against Eyrecourt that year. They really pushed us to the limit. But to say that, they're good, yeah, they're a good team, but you have to win it to get up now, and that's it. You have to prove it.
Their spine is one thing though, Dessie, like when you look at it, the Shane Maloney's, the Paul Colleen's, the Porrick Brennan's, like Ben Moore and Micheál Power, these players, like they're huge players.
I was very impressed with their goalie this year, would you believe it? Lynch.
Brendan Lynch, yeah.
Yeah, Brendan Lynch. I was very impressed with him this year. I thought a lot of things came out of him. I thought Johnny Conroy is going very well in midfield. These guys are seasoned now, and they know what it takes. Paul Killeen is kind of leading from centre back. Okay, we know they have the two boys up front, Maloney and Breheny. Like they have other guys, like they have younger lads there. Young Murphy, like he's popping up there with scores every day. Like these guys now are going to have to, if they put the shoulder to the wheel on Sunday and they push on. I think they're going to be hard bet next Sunday.
It is a credit though when you to Matty and Liam Hodgins and the management team as well, called to get them back here, because it's not easily done.
Yeah, absolutely. Like say, trying to rally the troops again, probably after being very disappointed, say, first of all, coming down and getting relegated, first of all, the year before, and then getting themselves together and getting to the final and then kind of losing it unexpectedly when everyone was kind of expecting to win it. It was probably a big disappointment to them. But then to come back again this year and like seeing them playing a couple of games, like playing top class hurling, like, and get all of them going, like, and you can see it in them, like that all the players who were on the field wanted, like, and to rally troops like that again, like is huge, like, because like say if they were feeling sorry for themselves, like they probably would have been bet by now, but they've all got their attitudes right on point, like, and they've got back again, like, and I think they've done a good job, like they have shuffled around players a bit this year now again, like. And I think they look a way balanced team the way they're set up this year, like, that'll probably show itself now on Sunday. We'll say like Shane Maloney, like top class hurler, like say him kind of out in the middle of the park, like say he can get on ball, like at that level, he can do what he wants a lot of the time there with it, like, having Porrick Brennany inside as well, like sure we all know what he's like. He's very good, like, and he's very intelligent hurler, like, he won't just take his own scores, but he'll bring lads into it around him as well, like, yeah, it'd be interesting to kind of see who picks up Conor Whelan, or will they change their own game plan, or will they go ahead themselves, like,
Matchup is something we'll get into in a second, but the thing is, called too, if you look at their group games, where the group they were in for the intermediate championship this year, it probably was a group that you thought that Tynagh-Abbey Duniry were going to come out of relatively comfortably. You look at the group games against Abbey-Knockmoy, Clanbridge and Kilbacon, they came over all of those comfortably. They came over Rahoon comfortably enough in the end. So for Maddie and the management team, there probably was maybe a doubt of have we got the test that we needed yet. But in fairness to them, they took an early lead against Carmore, and then when they were tested and put to the pin of the collar, they responded excellently to finish that game out.
Yeah, definitely. Like say, if you look back to the group stages and that, they probably might have got a minor test out of it or whatever, but they definitely steamrolled through a lot of teams there throughout the group and racked up high scoring as well. Like, but I think that probably carries in then, like say, into the quarterfinals and into the semi-finals, that if they kind of concentrate on their own game and they're they're racking up their own scores or whatever like that. That's probably where they're going to play their best hurling. Like that, if they don't get too bogged down on setting up for the other team, like they've a strong enough spine, they've a good enough spine to be up senior A really. Like with the spine of the team they have. Like so, if they can concentrate on getting their scores on the ball, and not worrying too much about the opposition, will say they'll have to make some sort of plans or whatever for Conor Whelan or whatever. But I see Paul Killeen kind of out the middle of the pitch. Like I don't know, like say they like some people might say that they should put him back now, but back on Conor Whelan. Like, but I'd be definitely in favour of like say if they were going that they're sticking to their own game plan and they're trying to rack up their own scores, like because I think if they set up a bit more defensively, that it could take away from their scores. Now Carnmore were probably their biggest test, and it's no harm for them to get a test. It'll probably stand to the team as well. Like I think that was their first goal they conceded all year that day against Carnmore. Like so it was a test for them. But again, like they reacted well to it. Like even when they came back at them and Carnmore had all the momentum. Like Tina fixed it and got it right. Like so I think that just shows like that they're well organised.
On Kinvara up front then, Dessie, Dara Helibert and Conor Whelan have obviously been two men who've been racking up big scores. From a Tynagh-Abbey Duniry perspective, who would you expect to pick them two up at the weekend?
Jeez, I don't know. I don't know what way. If you can pick what way Matthew Kinney will pick his team, you're a better man than anyone. So don't worry. They'll have a plan for them. Like, but see, Kinvara. I'll go back to it. Like Kinvara are so young. Like they have a few different players that they have to pick up. Like Dara Herbert, great player. I just think these guys are going to take a lot of market. It's going to be a very tight matchups. I suppose both managements are going to be at it. Like they'll have all that work done now, and probably tonight and tomorrow night at training they'll be talking about them. But yeah, I don't know what way they'll set up. I actually don't know.
Could you see Paul Killeen going back on Conor Whelan?
I don't know. I possibly could, like, but sure, where Conor Whelan plays, like Conor Whelan could be number 10, like, if he is, it'll probably suit Paul a lot better, like, but like, are you going to move your full back line because, like, the Tynagh now are not bad, like, they have a solid goalie, as I said, like McHugo's as good as anyone to take up Conor Whelan, I think McHugo could be the man for Conor Whelan,
It
and in my
is.
view on it.
Yeah, it is that thing called because you don't want to be switching your back line around, but Conor Whelan is one of those players that you have to get a matchup on straight away.
Yeah, definitely. Like I think it probably would be a bit naive to not think he's gonna cause you problems. Like as an all-star hurler, like sure he has to be a plan made for him. But I'm sure they obviously have looked at all that. Like and they have they've as Des said there, they've plenty of guys that are able to mark them in their six backs. Like six backs perform very well all throughout the year when I've seen them anyway. Like there's loads of guys there. David Jordan is in wing back there like as well. Like he was hurling very well. Like they could leave him up to him or whatever. Like but. I'm sure, like, yeah, they have their own matchups made, and it's like that as well. Like they're probably Kinvara aren't fully reliant on them either. Like they have other guys inside as well who are very very quick as well. Dara Helibert, one of them as well. Like, and they're well able to move. Like and even through that, like they've midfielders there. Liam Martin, I think it is. And they set up like and they're running through from midfield into the half forward line, and they're causing loads of problems. Like they're defending, they're three in midfield, and they're defending and they're attacking. Like and they're getting overloads all over the place. Like so, it's yeah, they can definitely cause more than one problem. Like
It's interesting too, then from a Kinvara perspective, because Shane Maloney's played a lot deeper this year too.
Yeah, the couple of games I've seen Shane playing, he's kind of been out towards midfield or the middle third, like it seems to be suiting him anyway so far. Anyway, yeah, that he can get on ball and probably is a great out ball for the guys coming out from the back if they're carrying the ball out. That they're not just lumping it along the whole time. That if Shane is showing for the ball, like 9 times out of the 10, you're probably going to give it to him, like and he brings other lads into play an awful lot, like say like ball inside, like whether it be Port Barney inside or Thomas Murphy as well inside, like they're both well able to win their own ball, like and I think if you have him, you're trying to get him like much like Conor Whelan, like you're trying to get Shane on the ball as much as you possibly can, like because he's a scorer and he's a playmaker, like so you'd be looking to get him on the ball as much as you can,
Dessie, just on it before we come to predictions, is there any players in the Intermediate Hurling Championship this year that you feel Micheál Donoghue and the new Galway management team should be having a look at?
Well, there is and I've been saying it for a while. Like Cathal know them a bit better than I am, but I've been very very impressed with the James Downey there now from Meelick Eyrecourt for the last 2 or 3 years. Every time we played them in the last 2 or 3 years, he broke my heart. He's a serious athlete, serious hurler, can take frees. He can play in a couple of different positions. He's as good as I've seen. And then you go to different clubs like Tina have obviously a few, Kinvara have a few. There's one or two in Killimor. Yeah, but we have to look at these players now too.
Do
It's
you
not
do
all
you
about.
feel it's something that hasn't been looked at? Because if you look last year, Conor Whelan was really the only player from the intermediate championship that was on a Galway senior hurling team.
Which it has to be looked at, and it probably has to be looked at in the future. And we can't do anything about what went on in the past now. That was each manager had their own decisions, but you know, I've experienced now the intermediate championship for the last 4 years, and Cathal, as he said, there has been in it the last year or two. Um, you know, and you go out there every second Sunday, you're always seeing these hurlers, horses hurlers out there in clubs. Horses, especially in the clubs that only have that's their first team. You know, there is intermediate players out there, and it has to look, yeah, has to.
Is there any players that have stood out for you this year, Carl?
Yeah, there would there's definitely it's probably unfair to mention a few names, all right? You'd always be biased towards your own lads as well, but yeah, definitely I think there's definitely players there that are definitely capable. If you're talking about say the start of the year with a Galway panel, say I know say in your own club, whatever you'd be talking about saying if you see a guy inside in the county, you're saying we definitely have a lad who's as good as him, but I think especially with the new management going in, that you'd be hoping that they would bring in a few new faces and give them the chance, and not just give them a token gesture or whatever, but to actually keep them there for a couple of weeks and try to develop them on, because I think you go back to say you'd obviously have great faith in the management coming in now with Galway that after getting the All Ireland for Galway back in 2017. But I think you look back on that team in 2017 and you look at all the players who were playing that were picked out of the intermediate championship. I know they might have been playing underage for Galway and that or whatever, but say you look at John Hambry, cornerback, was in the intermediate championship. The two Manions were in the intermediate championship. Garage McInerney, Niall Burke was there. Conor Whelan was there. Colin Cannon in goals was intermediate as well. And you're kind of looking at it there. And as I was saying at the start of the podcast, that the championship is very tough. And it's a real dogfight at times. And I think that's a great springboard for hurlers and really talented hurlers as well. That if they can get to grips with a championship like that or a game like that, and then after that they can. It's a great platform for them, that they go in and get brilliant coaching inside in the county setup. But if they have that with them from 18, 19 years of age, that they can it's a great thing that they're able to dog it out and then they can progress on from that. I think it's a great starting point for them,
From your own perspective, how good of an experience was it to work with Noel Larkin this year, who's obviously going to be involved with the new Galway management team?
Yeah, Noel was great, since the get-go when I first met him or whatever, he welcomed me in, and he was giving me all the background that he possibly could. I wasn't going in with a blank canvas into Eyrecourt. He had done, and other guys there had done loads of good work, over the last couple of years, and even when he was very busy, with his own business and with Dublin as well, he still made the time to come back to his club, which speaks a lot for the man as well, so he had done loads of coaching with them, yeah, it was great. I was picking his brain. He's probably annoyed at me now. I've been picking his brain so much, but it's great, to work one on one with him, and see him the way he deals with players and the way he deals on match day and everything. Sure, I was very grateful for now, to know him first and then to learn from him.
Just before we finish, lads, we will get predictions. Dessie, I'll come to you first. How do you see this one going?
How do I see it going? I think that my own prediction is I'm going to stick with me Galway has on board, for the simple reason of experience on the day, and I do feel that Kinvara are coming. I actually do. Um, I think it might take another year or two for these guys to develop, but I'm going to stick with Tynagh-Abbey Duniry just because of experience and the final last year and the whole lot. Yeah, I'm going to stick with Tina Abbey.
How much do you think it'll be by Dessie, and do you think this will be a close contest?
Oh, I think it'll be close, yeah. I actually do think it'll be close. As you said earlier on, like these two teams have been unbeaten. And I'll go back to the no fear thing and Kinvara. If Tina win this by 2 or 3 points, I think it'll be the most. But look I'm not ruling out Kinvara win at all. But I just think when it's went down to the last 10 minutes of it's tight, I think Tina could see this one out. As Paul said there, last year they thought they had it, and the whole of Ballandureen had other thoughts in their heads, and they went on. So I don't think that's going to happen. I just think that Tina under Matty and Haji and boys there, Kevin Dwayne and Maloney, I think they're going to get over the line.
And how do you see this one going, Carl?
I think Tina are going to be very strong. Like they're going to have a lot of hurt from last year and that, and that's obviously going to count for a good bit for them. But I don't think it'll be as far apart as people probably think it's going to be. It's going to be a tight affair. Kinvara will definitely have a plan themselves, and they're going to stick fully to that plan. But I'm gonna sit on the fence now and say it'll be a draw.
Just before we do finish, obviously the intermediate title is a huge thing here, and for both clubs it's massive. But as well, Carl, the prize is massive here at Senior B Hurling.
Yeah, definitely. Say the first and foremost, they're trying to win the championship, but all these intermediate teams, especially the top 5 or 6 that are there now, they're looking to get back up to Senior B. They're looking to. It's not just for themselves either. It's kind of for the guys who are coming up through it. And if they can see that their senior team in their club is competing at the highest level they possibly can, it'll drive on the young lads coming through as well. I would say especially that championship, it's a real wide open championship. The last couple of years, people were probably this year maybe people were tipping Lee Mellows to win it. They looked very strong or whatever earlier on the year, winning the league and that as well. And you just don't know who because there's only 8 teams in it, anything can really happen. And you've seen Ballandureen going so far in it this year as well, that if whoever does come up of intermediate at the weekend that, they'll have no fear going up into it now, and Ballandureen probably paved that way for them as well, but that's the ultimate goal, to get there and to build stronger in the club and try to get up towards the senior A again,
I know you've obviously seen the benefits, Dessie, as a club of getting promoted.
Yeah, the year we got promoted, what it did for underage in the Killimor area there, even to the Father Joe's club, they're joined with Eyrecourt, that's the underage thing. It drove it on, to see young fellas going around there with Killimor jerseys on them for the year after, or going down to the field when we were training, or poking the ball around. It just drove on the whole club, and I think whoever wins on Sunday is going to do the same thing, because you can't beat a win in any club to just lift the morale or lift everything else. But, these are 2 good clubs now. They're 2 traditional hurling clubs. They have a lot of players represented Galway over the last couple of years in both clubs. And looking at both panels, there's a lot more players to come that will represent out of their clubs, even at underage levels. So yeah, it's a big thing. It's a big thing for any club to win, to drive on the underage system,
Absolutely. Well, that's the intermediate final this weekend. Tynagh-Abbey Duniry and Kinvara. The winner will be promoted to Senior B Hurling and will obviously enter the Connacht Championship Series as well, representing Galway. That's all we do have time for on this evening's show. Thanks to Cathal and Dessie for coming on.